life can hit like a sledgehammer. But guess what? We hit back harder. Welcome to Affirm That Sh. Somehow I thrived. I'm Jennifer Rogers, your no BS guide to turning life's toughest moments into badass victories. Ready to flip the script? Let's affirm that life can be a bitch, but somehow we thrive. Welcome to today's episode of Affirm That Sh. Somehow I thrived. I'm your host, Jennifer Rogers. And today, I want you to think back to your senior year of high school. What were you doing? What was life like for you at that time? Was it fun? Was it stressful? Was it energizing? Making plans for the next stage of life? Today, we're going to talk to Ashley Simpson. And she's going to talk about what life was like for her in her senior year when she was facing loss, she was facing a shift in love, and she was shaping what's next. And what Ashley chose to do was to keep her heart open, to encourage herself, and to encourage others that through art, life matters. We'll hear Ashley's story in just a moment, but first I invite you to take a moment and repeat her affirmations with me. If you're in a space and place that you can sit back, relax, close your eyes, and breathe deep, I encourage you to do so now. I honor life by loving fully, even when loss is possible. Love is always worth the risk. Art gives voice to what the heart holds. Stay with us. You'll meet Ashley after this break.
Imagine a space where you let go, where the clamor of the world quiets and you meet your truest self. At Yukio, through sound vibrations, Reiki, and the wisdom of tarot, we help you release what no longer serves you, align with your energy, and renew your spirit. Begin your journey back to yourself today.
Good morning, Ashley. Thank you for joining us today on Affirm That Sh. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. I know we were kind of laughing off camera before we started about wearing the stripes today. So glad we both got each other's memo and connecting on the same wavelength here.
Yes.
I have no doubt, Ashley, that your story is also going to connect on so many different wavelengths today. You are such a bright person that I feel honored to share this space with you. And sister, I'm going to turn it right over to you. I want you to dive in. That senior year of high school, right? We're so close. That clutch of freedom, that breath is right there.
Yeah.
Your senior year was a little different. Tell us about that.
It was. It was the very beginning. You know, it's something that you look forward to the whole time. It's a lot of decisions about what's next in life, and you're kind of just ready to get that year over with. It's supposed to be fun. You do all the fun things, and then you're planning for the future. And just a little backstory. My parents got divorced right after I was born and both remarried. So my step parents were just like bonus parents for me. I was raised by both sets of parents, so I was very close with all of them. And I remember actually I was taking my senior pictures. It was August, getting ready for the school year. School had just started, and my stepdad had a heart condition. He had some issues, ended up being admitted to the hospital. So I actually went and took my senior pictures alone because they were busy doing their things, and that it it didn't seem, I don't know, different to me. So I was kind of used to that. So went on, went to school like everything else. We found out that he was going to need to have a pacemaker put in. So I went to school like usual. Knew he was going to have surgery that morning. And then when I was at school, I got called out of class and asked to go to the office, which I thought was strange. Um, and then when I started walking there, I saw my stepbrother there and he was full of tears and I just knew. Um, so my stepdad ended up dying before they ever started the surgery. And that just spiraled into a completely different year, you know. Um, I didn't go back to school for a little while because obviously it's hard to lose a parent at that time. And it's something that's supposed to be so exciting and ended up being extremely tough.
I can't imagine getting that news at school and in that moment. And then the things you're saying about this felt normal, doing things by myself felt normal because this is where we were. But to be that young, grief can be so confusing. And how did you start to process that loss?
Yeah, we all did things differently. I was still 17 years old at the time. And, someone passes away, and then all of a sudden your house is full of people and everyone there, and they're trying to help you in their way. And I was used to it just being the three of us. And suddenly this house was so full. And then, um, so it was just a little chaotic. I definitely went to more of the retreat, you know, um, kind of just wanted to be alone, wanted my own space. And it was just life was different. It really impacted my mom, and I had to grow up really quickly and suddenly be the one doing, the grocery shopping and things like that. Because obviously she was so depressed from it. So life just changed very drastically. It's like, you're about to do all these big kid things, right, when you move out, but suddenly I was doing it at 17 years old and having to figure some things out. So it was one of those that was really tough, but it made me determined that I was still going to move forward and go after goals that I had. My stepdad was always super supportive of my dreams and, making sure that I made a life for myself that made a difference and that I ended up doing work that I was passionate about. So that definitely led to the next chapter.
What a moment of encouragement for you to be able to lean back into everything that he had instilled in you throughout life. What a great example. And to be there for your mom during that time of loss for her, Ashley, and to step up to the plate and say, yes, I can do these things, but I can still do my own things as well. So I want to applaud you for that because so many times we can get caught in those what ifs and what would life look like had things been different. And so I want to talk about that next journey, right? Because you chose a degree in art therapy. What led you to that and how are you using it?
Yeah. So because of my experience with him and being in the hospital a lot, I feel like you either love a hospital or you're like, this is awful. I don't want to be here. I never minded the smell. I didn't mind going to visit. I didn't even mind the food there. Wasn't bad for me. I was used to it. But I just didn't think that, you think about a hospital setting and you think, doctors and nurses, right? And I knew that that wasn't my path. I loved art. But whenever my art teacher and I were talking about it, and we were talking about, maybe I want to be an art teacher, then I quickly realized the thing I was most excited about was actually decorating the classroom. So that was not my calling. So I knew that I was going to figure out how to do art in a hospital setting. I just wasn't quite sure. So I moved forward, went on to college, and was majoring in studio art. And then I always loved psychology too, so I made that my minor. And I think that, it's the power of choices. I could have been sad and stayed home and, you know, stayed in that, but I chose to continue to move forward and chase my dreams. My mom was still really struggling at that time, but I needed to go and do my thing. So I still left, went to college, and it's crazy how I just think I'm a true believer that every choice, as minor as it is, really shapes your life and makes a difference. So it was my sophomore year of college, fresh fall semester, sophomore year, and one of our alumni in the sorority said, "Hey, we're working with the Oklahoma City alum group for Tri Delta. We're trying to get some collegiate members involved. You're an art major. Will you come help?" And I was like, "Yeah, what is this?" And she's like, "It's for pediatric cancer patients. They make artwork. We auction it off. It's a fundraiser that supports the pediatric cancer community." I said, "Okay." And she's like, "And it's Saturday." Well, Saturdays for a college student, that's a big day, right? And she's asking me to go travel to Oklahoma City and go volunteer instead. And I said, "You know what? Yeah, I'll go." So she picks me up, I guess to make sure I don't ditch. I don't know. But she comes, picks me up, takes me there. And before we get in the room with any of the patients, we're kind of prepped by some of the volunteers. And they said, don't get too close. Some of these kids won't make it to the event, so just kind of not to cross that line, right? Of just, you don't want to get too personal with them, right? And this was November. The event was in February. And I was like, gosh, like some of these kids won't make it. I was used to an adult with a heart condition. I hadn't really been around children who were sick. Um, so that was crazy to me. And so I went in a bit guarded, obviously, since I had just been told that. And I'm paired with this cutest little girl. She's probably 5 or 6 years old. And she wants to paint these filled of pink flowers. And that's my favorite color. And she's adorable and just so fun. And so we're starting to make her art piece. And I guess she could just feel that I was detached, not quite connecting and opening up. But she's a small child. And she just stops and she said, "Don't be scared to be my friend, because if I died, I'd miss you too."
Ashley.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, well, okay, all in, you know, um, put that shield down, right? And we make the artwork. We have the best time. And, back then, that was 2006. So there weren't, we didn't take pictures. We didn't post it on social media. That wasn't really a thing. Um, I remember her, and then I remember seeing her at the event in February. We got some photos at that time, but you didn't really stay connected with the family. So I never knew what happened to her. And I continued to serve with that event, making artwork. I actually still serve with it today. And, I had all these other kids, did this for years, always loved it, never saw her again. And kind of fast forward, that release also stirred my passion in realizing that art was very therapeutic. And that's how I learned about the field of art therapy. And so I went on, graduated college, got my master's in counseling psychology and art therapy, and ended up becoming a registered art therapist. So, and then I wanted my focus to be in a hospital setting, specifically working with children.
Talk about full circle. And I can't imagine the shock your heart felt when you had a 5-year-old say that to you. I
Yeah.
would be like, whatever you want, sister, let's do it. We're going.
One of those that it's like you'll never forget it. And it's like,
No.
how was someone that young, that in tune to just say that too? But I'll never forget it. And that just one of those things that carried with me. And I think that's what inspired my field of art therapy, along with, my comfort in the hospital. So wanting to take that hospital setting. And so then I find myself in New Mexico. I'm looking for an internship. And I'm talking to that same alumni who got me to go paint the very first time. And I was telling her how I'd love to be back at OU Children's, but it's just so big. I can't just pick up the phone and ask for an internship. I didn't even know where to start. And she said, "Well, have you heard of Cavett Kids?" And she said, "They serve everyone, not just cancer." And I said, "I haven't." So I checked it out. And she said, "Here, give them a call." Sent me the number. And I did not know it was the director's personal cell phone. I blew that thing up, got my internship though. So yeah, she did not give me the office line. She gave me the personal cell phone. But got that internship. That was 2012. I started as an intern with the Cavett Kids Foundation. My job was to go do provide free art therapy services there inside of OU Children's in collaboration with Cavett Kids, and to invite them to camp. So Cavett Kids does all completely free summer camps for kids battling chronic and life-threatening illnesses and has around-the-clock medical care. So I was in charge of growing the campers and then running the art at camp. And so it really just spurred from there. It's crazy.
And you and I know each other on a personal level outside of the podcast. And I've been blessed to hear some of the stories you've talked about, some of the camps you've gone to, the learning lessons that you put in for these kids. Some of them, some of the camps, they even have to meal plan their own meals and prepare for, the week ahead, basically. And so
Yeah.
you are constantly in that caregiving moment, kind of where you've been since you were 17. This has
Yeah.
just changed the way you do it throughout your life. And so I want to ask you about compassion fatigue, because I think if anybody has it, you might be the one that could carry that, but you do it so beautifully. And so, what does compassion fatigue look like? What does it feel like? And how do you move through it and keep going today?
Yeah. You know, it I have been to more children's funerals than I've been to adults. And that is the reality of the work in the field that I serve in. And it can be really tough, but you have to remember that in the job that we do, through the Cavett Kids Foundation and through all the other support services, our job is to make the life that they have now absolutely as fun and full as possible. It's not about a timeline. It's not comparing to what others' lifeline's going to look like. It's about living fully now. And I think that's what's so special. The Cavett Kids Foundation, we're not here to, um, learn how to get rid of childhood cancer. There's a lot of amazing people already doing that work. We're not here to give them one day of just total fun and freedom. There's people already holding that space and do a wonderful job at it. What we're trying to do is using the camp space, because that gets you out, gets you fun, you can learn independence. It's something that they likely haven't done because of the around the clock care that they need. But what we're teaching isn't singular. It is about learning to thrive in life despite the challenges. So they're learning about building character, that, these are the cards that you were dealt. It doesn't have to define you. You do not need to live defined by your illness, by the circumstances. You can build positive coping skills, and then you have to learn how to connect. You have to be around people that you can help, people that can help you. And there's a whole area of connection. And you have to learn there's a greater purpose than just yourself. So there's multiple levels of connection. And that's what we're starting to instill in kids at a young age. We start at age 8. So our kids that are learning these, and one of the things I think is so beautiful is they move from a victim of the diagnosis. why me, pity party, right? Like anyone would feel. To, well, I wouldn't wish this on anyone else, but why not me? You know, because of this, I met this Cabot Kids family. Because of this, I learned these skills in life. Because of these, I had these different opportunities. And what a beautiful way and lens to look at life that kids are learning. We have grown adults that can't look at life like that.
Girl,
Um,
yes. Yes,
we have a lot of them.
absolutely true. Absolutely. But I know that the work that you do at Cabot Kids is nonprofit. So
Yes.
you're always looking for someone that can help continue pouring into the mission, the camps,
Mhm.
the students, everything that they're about. Can you talk to us a little bit and share with our viewers and listeners how they can connect with you, how they can donate time, how they can donate resources, and maybe give more if that's what they're feeling on their heart to do?
Yeah. I do want to circle back to one piece. So, I started with Cabot Kids in 2012 as an unpaid intern. August 2012, they hire me on as a program director. I'm supposed to be building, the camper base, the services that are within the hospital for that program. Um, February 2018, I am moved into the executive director role. And I never saw myself moving there. I never saw myself not being a full-time therapist. But what I learned is that you really use those skills in any role. Those therapeutic skills, the active listening, have all helped me become a better leader. But one of the things that is just so special to me is a lot of our campers want to come back and serve. They want to be on our summer staff, they want to be interns, they want to see what the other side is like. Which I'm like, I can tell you right now, it's not as fun as being a camper, because you're in charge now and you have to do all the dirty work. Um, but we always have that, and I think it is a beautiful cycle that they want to see what it's really like. So we have two working with us one summer. It's Takia and Rebecca. And we had just gotten done with back-to-back camp sessions. We're out there unloading the trailer. And Rebecca's mom says something to me along the lines of, gosh, I have to find those old photos. Um, it's been so long. I'm thinking, I'm tired and I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'd known Rebecca as a camper, right, for many years, didn't think too much about it. Come to find out, the camper who was registered with us and the intern who was serving with us was under the name of Rebecca. Rebecca was 5-year old Becca, who had said to me, don't be scared to be my friend. If I died, I'd miss you too. So, talk about full circle.
Yes.
And it was amazing. And we were kind of having a moment. She won one of our scholarships and we were talking. And I told her, I said, do you know what you said to me? She said, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And she figured it was something bad. And I said, no. And I told her what she said. And she said, I can't believe I said that. And she's like, I don't remember it at all. But she was just sharing how I had shaped her life and how much I had encouraged her. And today is full circle. She is now a pediatric oncology nurse.
Oh my gosh. Serving those that she walked right in their path. Ashley,
Yeah.
thank you for circling back on that because how many of us in life have someone who says something that was so impactful to us that we get to see how life bloomed and blossomed for them?
Yeah. I have a sign above my desk at my office and it says lead with love. Do I show up like that every day? Absolutely not. But I really try to. And sometimes when I don't, you gotta look at that sign, right? When someone's testing you, you gotta look at that
Sometimes that
sign.
lead with love is actually leave me alone.
Yeah. It's like, oh, but am I perfect? No. But when you just really love people, I think that's what makes all the difference. I think not having that guard up, opening up, and just sharing life with people, being real. We don't have to be these perfect images. We are real people. We make real good mistakes. I've made plenty of them. But like, it's life and it's messy. But when you really love each other, it just makes everyone's bond different.
I want to say something right here because we're going to show the picture you shared of yourself and your stepfather. And would you tell me his name, please?
His name is Bob. He always said spelled the same front and back.
Very smart man. Very smart
Yeah.
man. But the picture you shared is absolutely perfect. This picture of you two, you as a little girl and this raccoon.
Yeah.
And man,
That was
talk
my pet
about
raccoon.
that was your
He,
pet. Oh my God.
his name was Bandit. He walked on a leash. Um, yeah, so that picture, we were actually taking a road trip to Yellowstone, and that was just one of the stops along the way. And yeah, I'd always been real close with them. My stepdad had all boys. And so I was obviously the baby. I'm way younger than them. And I was the girl. And they always said, "Why did you get it so much easier?" And I'm like, "Because I'm nicer." But yeah, that was a trip to Yellowstone, and it was a road trip, and I took my pet raccoon Bandit along for the ride.
I love it. I love
It was
the
the
whole
90s. You
ecosystem.
could do what you wanted.
You do what you wanted, right? Right. And I love what you talk about. We didn't have social media then. We weren't posting every little thing,
No.
right? We still have some fun times back there. So, Ashley, we're going to share again with our viewers and listeners how they can reach out to you, how they can give if that's what they want to do. But I want to ask you to lead the show off today. We opened with your affirmations and you talk about making mistakes. Girl, I was fumbling over my words. I know Portia's probably tried to clean me up. She's going to have to do some extra polishing on there. But that's life, right? We try to say the right things and sometimes things just happen. And then we have stories like yours where a 5-year-old said the right thing in the right moment at the right time that set you forward in who you are today, and you got to see her come around. And so, what I would like to ask you to do is to just take a moment to think and then share again with our viewers and listeners. I want you to complete this sentence. I affirm that. And you fill in the blank.
I guess I'd say I affirm that follow your heart. It doesn't lead you wrong.
You're absolutely right. Ashley, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I realized I never shared about getting connected. Do I need to do that still?
You are now. We've got all your information. We'll share your contact information with everyone. But if you want to go ahead and say it out loud, let's do that.
Yeah. Cabot Kids is active on all social media platforms. And then our website is cabotkids.org. And if you're looking to donate or serve, it's best to go through the website, and it's cabotkids.org/donate.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you so much.
You just took another step towards owning your story and thriving against all odds. This is Affirm That Sh. Somehow I thrived. If you're ready to keep kicking ass, subscribe now and let's keep breaking barriers together. Remember, life's a battle, but somehow you'll thrive.